Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have been watching the folks in this town navigate their messy, complicated lives for more years than I can count. And let me tell you, the week of August 24th is shaping up to be an absolute humdinger. Sometimes you look at the television screen and you just want to reach right through it to give these people some good old-fashioned advice. Next week, it feels like the entire town is standing on the edge of a steep cliff, just waiting for a strong gust of wind to push them over. There is a whole lot of reckless behavior going on, and as a man who has seen his fair share of life's ups and downs, I can tell you that playing with fire always leaves somebody burned. My heart is already aching for some of our favorite folks, so let us take a slow, careful walk through what is coming our way. Let us start with poor Curtis Ashford. That man is currently sitting behind cold steel bars, and you can just imagine the heavy toll it is taking on his proud soul. I know what it is like to be a family man, to want to protect and provide for your loved ones, and being separated from them is the hardest thing a man can endure. For Curtis, the agonizing pain of being away from his beautiful family must feel like a sharp knife to the heart every single morning he wakes up in that dismal place. He is missing out on little Desmond growing up. He is away from his brave Trina, and he cannot be there for the ever-strong Jordan. He is missing those precious fleeting moments of daily life, the kind of simple joys you can never get back once they slip through your fingers. It is a bitter pill to swallow for a man who has always stood tall, but the heartache of separation is only half of his nightmare right now. The word on the street is that Curtis is about to get a new cellmate, and it is none other than Jen Sidwell. Now, if you know anything about Sidwell, you know that this is a recipe for absolute, unmitigated disaster. You put two strong, stubborn men in a space the size of a broom closet, and sparks are bound to fly. It makes me wonder what kind of twisted psychological game Sidwell is going to play in the dark of the night. Will he try to sweet-talk Curtis into some crazy, dangerous scheme, or will he go straight for the jugular and threaten the people Curtis loves the most? I have a terrible, sinking feeling that Sidwell is cooking up a prison break. If he drags Curtis into the mud with him, any hope of parole is going to vanish like smoke in the wind. Curtis is stuck between a rock and a hard place, and one wrong move could cost him his freedom forever. Now, let us cross the ocean and talk about our dear, sweet Laura Collins. Bless her heart, she is packing her bags for what she thinks will be a lovely, peaceful trip to the Emerald Isle. Ireland is such a gorgeous place, full of rolling green hills and old-world charm, and Laura is heading over there with a heart full of hope and good intentions. She is planning to visit her husband, Kevin, and hopefully bring little Ace Cassadine back home to Port Charles, where that boy truly belongs. There is nothing quite like the warmth of a reunited family sitting around the dinner table. But, folks, I am terribly afraid that Laura is walking straight blindfolded into a buzzsaw of absolute heartbreak. The whispers and rumors suggest that this Irish getaway is going to turn into a waking nightmare for her marriage. I hate to even say it out loud because Laura deserves so much better, but there is talk that Kevin might have found himself another woman over there. Can you even imagine the utter shock and devastation? After everything they have built and survived together, the idea of Kevin asking for a divorce is enough to knock the wind right out of your lungs. He is supposedly planning to stay in Dublin for another semester, and you have to wonder what kind of dark secrets he is hiding in those ancient cobblestone streets. If Laura gets hit with this kind of betrayal, it is going to shatter her entire world into a million pieces. And you know how things work in a tight-knit place like Port Charles. A heartbreak of this magnitude will send massive shockwaves through the entire town. It is a crying shame. It really, truly is. Meanwhile, back on home soil, Anna Devane is fighting her own terrifying, invisible battles. Anna has always been tough as nails, a real force of nature who never backs down from a fight, but right now she is being haunted by the dark ghosts of her past. She is actually hearing visions of Peter August. Just hearing that man's name gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies. It is like she cannot escape the dark, suffocating shadows he left behind. Anna is desperately trying to piece together the complicated puzzle surrounding the plot to take out Britt Westbourne, and the mental toll it is taking on her is simply immense. When your own mind starts playing cruel tricks on you, it is a terrifying, lonely place to be. I just pray she can find a way to silence those demons before they drive her over the edge. She has carried the weight of the world on her shoulders for far too long, and she needs a moment of peace. And speaking of carrying heavy, unfair burdens, my heart just breaks into pieces for young Trina. That sweet, beautiful girl has been through the ringer more times than I can count, and now it looks like her creepy stalker is finally getting ready to make a move. You know that dreadful sinking feeling in your gut when you are just waiting for the other shoe to drop? That is exactly the atmosphere hanging over her right now. Only this time, it seems like Kai Taylor is the one who is going to find himself caught in the deadly crosshairs. His young life is in very real danger, and the suspense is enough to make you bite your fingernails right down to the quick. You just want to wrap these innocent kids in a warm blanket and keep them safe from all the monsters lurking in the dark corners of the world. It is a terrifying situation, and we are all going to be sitting on the edge of our seats praying for their safety. In the midst of all this life and death drama, we also have some deep, long-buried family secrets bubbling up to the surface. Hudson Parker seems to have stumbled upon a massive, life-altering revelation. It looks like he is finally putting the puzzle pieces together and realizing that little Phoebe Chase is actually the child of Delilah Wilson. Well, I will be a monkey's uncle. You know what they say down south? The truth will always come out in the wash, no matter how hard you try to scrub it away and hide it. Hudson is going to have to figure out his next move very, very carefully. Does he blow the lid off this massive secret and turn everyone's lives completely upside down, or does he try to keep it to himself? It is a heavy, terrible burden to carry someone else's truth, and I do not envy the difficult position he is sitting in right now. Now, let us wander over to the sprawling, fancy grounds of the Quartermain estate, where things are getting mighty tense between Willow Kane and Michael Corinthos. Willow has moved into the big house, and you would think living in a beautiful mansion would be a dream come true for anyone. But money and big houses do not buy happiness, folks. Michael is a man who likes to play strictly by the rules, and he has a very rigid, stubborn way of doing things. Willow, on the other hand, is feeling completely suffocated by all his endless regulations and expectations. She is a grown woman, a loving mother, and having someone constantly looking over her shoulder and judging her every move is driving her right up the wall. When people feel trapped in a gilded cage, they tend to act out, and Willow is starting to make some very reckless, foolish decisions. It is like watching a slow-motion train wreck, and you just know deep in your bones that it is going to end in a river of tears. And of course, wherever Willow goes, her mother, Nina Reeves, is never far behind. Nina has a heart full of fierce, burning love for her daughter, but sometimes that intense motherly love makes her completely blind to the harsh reality of the situation. She absolutely refuses to abandon Willow, no matter how many mistakes the girl makes or how far off the path she strays. Jack Brennan is watching all of this unfold from the sidelines, and he is trying his absolute hardest to protect Nina from getting dragged down by Willow's stubbornness. He cares for Nina deeply, he really does, but you cannot save someone who does not want to be saved. Nina's blind determination to stick by Willow, come hell or high water, is going to pull both her and Brennan right into the destructive eye of the storm. It is a tangled, messy web of family loyalty and foolish choices, and it is going to get awfully ugly before it gets any better. Finally, let us end on a note of young, innocent love, even if it is bound to cause a massive, pounding headache for the adults involved. Young Rocco Falconeri and Scout Quartermain are spending a whole lot of time together lately, and it looks like a sweet little teenage romance is starting to bloom right before our eyes. Oh, to be young and in love again. It brings a warm smile to my face, just thinking about the pure innocence of holding hands, sneaking glances, and passing notes. But in a town like Port Charles, nothing is ever that simple or easy. Drew Kane is bound to find out about this little courtship sooner rather than later, and I can guarantee you with absolute certainty that he is not going to be happy about it. The very idea of his precious, sweet Scout dating the grandson of Sonny Corinthos is going to send Drew right over the edge. He will probably try to nip it in the bud immediately, laying down the law and forbidding them from seeing each other. But we all know from our own younger days that telling teenagers they cannot do something only makes them want to do it 10 times more. It is a classic, timeless tale of forbidden love, like a modern-day Romeo and Juliet. It just goes to show that the bitter feuds and long-standing grudges of the older generation are always passed down to the kids, whether they want them or not. From cold prison cells to beautiful Irish castles, from terrifying stalkers hiding in the shadows to teenagers sneaking a sweet kiss on the front porch, this upcoming week in Port Charles is going to be an absolute wild roller coaster of human emotion. I sit here watching these incredible stories unfold, and I am constantly reminded of how fragile our own lives are and how quickly a single split-second choice can change the entire course of our destiny. I will be glued to my television set every single day, and I sincerely hope you will be too. We will get through all this heartbreak, suspense, and drama together, just like we always do. Stay safe out there. Love your families a little harder today. Hold them close, and I will be right back here to talk about it all with you very, very soon.